All right, man. So thanks for coming on. I do really appreciate it. Wanted to bring you on because you have a pretty powerful story on simping and why you shouldn't simp for a woman that's not into you. Just wanted to hear your story on the girl that you say that you simped for 10 years, and just give a little backstory and advice for the channel.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It's a story that I think is very important, and I think it could help out a lot of guys. So, like what he said, yes, there was a girl that I was going after for. It was almost 10 years. It wasn't exactly 10 years, but it was almost around that time. I think where we should start first is the very beginning, where we ended up meeting.
Yeah.
Now, this girl we initially met at a church, and back in the day, I was very much I would say like a lot more religious. I mean, I would say I've grown in spirituality since then, but back then I was like, oh man, a girl in this church. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal. So I made an attempt to try and get to know her, and she also had a couple sisters. I got to know them as well. We ended up hanging out for a little bit. So yeah, we began hanging out for a little bit, and unbeknownst to me, she ended up meeting with a guy on a college campus.
Okay.
Once again, unbeknownst to me, there was a lot of firsts for this girl, and she was also getting into a relationship with this guy, and she was very much, I would say, in love with him, largely because he had a lot of money, and his family was very well off. The guy essentially provided her experiences,
like a good lifestyle,
yeah,
like
100.
vacations and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's lifestyle is definitely very important. That's it can take a guy far.
No, 100%. So this guy's family, he ended up moving over to Ohio, and of course she wanted to move over to be with him. So that's exactly what she did. She moved over to Ohio, and her and I, we talked on and off since then, just trying to, send out text messages here and there. We wish each other happy birthday and whatnot. And then one time I actually went out to see her for a little bit, especially after one phone call. So that wasn't fantastic.
So in terms of that phone call, like, did she like call you up and like say, hey, how you doing? Like, I'd love for you to come out and visit me. Like, how did that kind of originate?
It was largely that she said that it was almost like she was like talking me up, or somewhere along those lines. I mean, it was a very friendly conversation, but it's almost like she was trying to actually, I would say both of us were trying to elevate the friendship a little bit higher than it seemed to be.
Right. So at that point, like, you guys were just like good friends growing up, and like, I think at that point you thought that there was a chance for something a little bit more.
100%. I thought that, if I would hang out with her, then I would essentially plant this seed inside of her head that, hey, we could potentially be a decent
couple, yeah.
If she ended up, if she ended up breaking up with this guy that she was currently dating. Now, keep in mind, this is all around 2016.
Gotcha.
So anyways, this guy ended up breaking off things with her. I mean, the guy was a total douche.
Yeah.
I mean, he treated her horribly, and he just wasn't. He was like the stereotypical Chad that the manosphere likes to talk about often.
Yeah, so I think for her, like, this guy was like physically, he was, like you said, like a Chad, but also he came from a wealthy family, so he was providing the lifestyle. Yeah, that's tough, because like when a girl sees a guy in that light where she's like physically sexually attracted to him, and on top of that the wealth factor, that's like it's hard to, for a woman, that's like a good That's ultimately what they're shooting for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to add icing on top of the cake, this girl comes from a very I would argue poor family.
Mm-hmm.
And she got the taste of this really amazing lifestyle.
She was hooked onto
it.
Yeah,
she was absolutely hooked onto it. And keeping in mind, even though this guy, in the strict sense of the word, wasn't the most attractive guy out there, the fact that he had the status, the fact that he had the money, the fact that he had the charisma, or riz, as the kids like to say, that really attracted her to this guy.
She thought of him as like a good option. Like she came from a poorer background. She's like, I'm trying to date up into a wealthier background. That's I think that's super common, I think, for women to do that, and then people in general to do that too.
100%. So just to kind of forward the story along here a little bit. So he ended up breaking up with her, and that's kind of where our friendship started to really take off. Like there was, video calls and phone calls that happened once, or even sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, which was amazing. I mean, I thought that, I'm getting all this attention from this girl that I liked for a while.
It's going to lead to somewhere.
I thought it was absolutely going to lead somewhere.
Yeah.
So, it eventually worked itself up to the point where I visited her as a surprise for her birthday. And, she was very alone on her birthday. And, I thought to myself, me being, I hope the provider in a potential relationship, try to save her from this loneliness.
Yeah.
So we ended up, hanging out for her birthday, and that was that. Moved back. I then drove back, and then we, still talked back and forth often, close to 2 to 3 times every single week. Once again, very much enjoying the fact that I was getting all this attention from this girl. So anyways, life happened, and all of a sudden this girl was, she was thinking about moving back with her family over on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I made a very bold move here and helped her move halfway across the country, or at least did a cross-country trip in a loud moving van. It was, what was it, like 12 or 13 hour drive or something like that.
Wow.
So
was it like straight driving? Like you just...
Oh yeah, it was straight driving. Yeah, she didn't drive at all. And it was also cold and everything. So she was back in the area. I was thinking, oh, well, this is fantastic. I'll be able to get a chance to see her a little bit more often.
You guys live like 2 hours apart, hour and a half, something like that?
No, so after she moved back, we were about 15 minutes apart from each other. So we were definitely within, seeing each other a lot range, if I can say it like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So unfortunately, a couple days after she moved back, I suffered a nervous breakdown, and I mean a massive nervous breakdown.
Was it related to like that specifically?
Or do you think it was.
You think it was? Okay.
I think it was related to that, because at the time, I was trying the best I could to bottle up the fact that I potentially still like this girl, but I tried to mask it as a friendship instead of a potential relationship that I saw. And honestly, I think I was expecting something out of moving her back to the area, which was...
This was after like she had broke up with like a boyfriend out there?
Yeah, okay. This was after she broke up with her boyfriend. This was in 2019.
Gotcha. And when you were like driving out there, was that kind of like... Because I think like I think there's a lot of deep psychology when it comes to simping. What was your thought process? Because you had to drive, I guess, 12 hours down there. Was it more of like hoping that like, hey, like if I help her move across the country, she's going to see that I'm there for her, that I'm a good guy. She's finally going to realize like, hey, like, your value, so to say.
Honestly, I think I wanted her to see that there were other guys out there that weren't douchey.
Yep.
And I honestly thought myself as one of those guys that wasn't douchey. Whereas I I really think that that my mindset was maybe a little bit more centered on myself. So I mean, obviously, this was not the right thing to do. So, guys out there, please uh, take my warning here. Do not do this. No
Yeah.
matter what I mean, there are some rare instances and rare examples where some women out there will see you as the knight in shining armor getting ready to rescue her. But more times than not, this absolutely does not work whatsoever.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think for one, like you're a super, super nice friend to drive 12 hours across the country and help her move back. I mean, she better be super fucking appreciative of that. Like, you've helped me move before. Like, you're a fucking awesome guy. You're an awesome friend. But yeah, I think for myself, like, I would only help a girl move if that was like my girlfriend. If that was like my girlfriend, maybe ideally like a long-term girlfriend, or maybe if you're like you say you're sleeping with a girl and you're not in that long-term relationship, but she's actively showing that she has a similar level of lust for you.
Yeah,
I would probably help her move. But I can understand that, like, when you have a crush on someone that bad, like, as a man, you can go really far to show that you're like a good potential partner. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And there's a little bit more to this story. I'll definitely get onto it in just a second here. But around this time, and keep in mind this is around 2020. Mm-hmm. So obviously this is somewhere around where the pandemic started. This is where COVID started to happen. This was around the time where I was starting to think, okay, maybe what I did probably wasn't the best thing to do. And that's where I really started to get into my thick skull.
Yep.
That, if a girl does not want to be with you, then why on earth would you want to, be with her? Why would you want to try and force her to be with you? And that's just not the way that things work. And this came shortly after, because in 2020, I actually told her again, hey, I think we would be really good as a couple, and she once again rejected me. Surprise.
When she rejected you, was it like a soft rejection where it was like, hey, like, did she say something like, hey, I really value our friendship and I don't want to mess that up? Because a lot of women will do that because they don't really want to give you a hard rejection and tell you like, oh, fuck no, because they still want I'm generalizing here, but like, I think from a woman's perspective, they would still want your attention. They would still want you to do favors for them, be their emotional tampon, so to say. So it was probably a soft rejection, I would think.
You would think so. But she ended up saying, listen, and in her defense, I think she did it in the best way possible. But she outright told me, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not attracted to you. And that really stung crazy.
It stung, yeah. Yeah, 100%. And it's sometimes that's what you need to hear from a woman. Let's say you have a lot of lust for her, but it's not reciprocated. It was good that you finally got that out of her, because then you can kind of say, okay, well, she's not attracted to me. This isn't a possibility anymore. Yeah. But I think from like I guess an advice perspective, I think when you're on those like FaceTime calls or phone calls, I think it's trying to determine like pretty quickly if a girl is into you or not. And if she's not into you, then it's like, all right, cool. Like, hey, maybe we can, just be chill, but like not necessarily be like really good friends.
Yeah.
So to say. So it's figuring that out soon. Like if a girl is into you, I think that's the key is like whenever you interact with a woman, whether it's at a bar or a club or, at work or class, ideally not at work. Don't go there. But anytime you interact with a woman, it's pretty easy to tell if a girl is physically, sexually attracted to you really within the first like minute or a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And if they're giving you signs that they're into you, then obviously progress that forward. But if they're not, if I sense that a girl is like not into me, I'm kind of like, for me, I'm kind of done with the conversation, because it's like, why would I want to pursue a girl that's not 100% into me? But I think this girl, the way she kind of played it all those years, is she had those FaceTime calls with you, those phone calls, and she almost like gave you an inkling that like, yeah, I am a little bit attracted to you. And maybe she was attracted to you at one point, but that kind of waned over time. But I'm glad she actually like told you straight up, like, I'm not into it. Did that change when she said that? Did it kind of change?
A very, very good question. And I was hoping you were going to get to that, because you think that I would learn at that point.
Oh no,
it was bad.
Oh no.
So keep in mind, like after she told me that she didn't like me, you know, now in her defense, I really do think she wanted to try and, you know, pursue a decent friendship with each other. You know, I was pretty, you know, good with cars. That's really where I started working on cars at that point. And that's where she really kind of saw me as like someone to kind of go to before, you know, having a mechanic look at her car.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, because you're really good with cars. Like, you've changed my brakes, you changed my rotors. Like, I think you've given me an oil change. So
it's definitely been a pretty good journey with cars, at least at this point. But once again, like I said, didn't really learn my lesson. I did some oil changes for her
out of the kindness of your heart, too.
Yeah,
like,
out of the kindness of my heart. Like, I was really thinking that, you know, I was really like subverting this this thought that I really, really liked her. Like, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is not going to happen anymore. I don't like her anymore. Well, you try to bottle up those emotions, and it just absolutely does not work.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, we kind of got on to what I believed was a like a best friendship. And to be fair, it was a really good friendship. I very much enjoyed it. We hung out tons of times afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was starting to get like really comfortable with it. Now, she did end up getting another boyfriend. She ended up moving back to Ohio.
Oh,
and,
my gosh.
I kind of took a little bit of a break from talking with her, but, you know, once again, thought that maybe I'll be the guy that eventually, you know, rescues her. So this was in 2002. She ended up calling me after she broke up with her boyfriend.
Do you mean 2022?
Yeah.
When I heard 2002, I'm like,
oh boy,
I was like, shit.
I'm sorry, like, 2022. That's my fault.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to make sure we had the story straight. Yeah.
So yeah, she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend in 2022. She ended up calling me crying, and I was, you know, there to help her out. And once again, we were talking on the phone for multiple times a week, and then, you know, couple of years went by, and at this point I really started to get into my head that, yeah, this just isn't gonna work out. Of course, you know, it takes 9 years for someone to, you know, realize something like this. Then recently she ended up getting into a relationship with her new boyfriend, and this has been going on, I think, for about 4 or 5 months now.
Okay.
And ever since then, you know, I stopped making that effort. You know, I've essentially promised myself that I would not, you know, put myself through an emotional roller coaster like that anymore, which was a little bit strange. I noticed some strange behaviors as a result of this. Like, I was starting to get, you know, messages of, hey, you know, I miss you. You know, can we try and, you know, talk on the phone sometime? And
she misses, here's the crazy part, is like, she misses your listening skills that you have. She misses the attention, and she misses like the favors. That's what's crazy about all this, is that, and I think she enjoys you as a person. You're fucking awesome. Like, you're the man. And it's just, you have so much potential. Like, you can do so much better. Like, you're a great musician. You're like the smartest guy I know. If you grew your hair out and you got in really, really good shape, you would do really well in dating. Like and then even like maybe you like you have that musician kind of look, try to, use that like musician kind of style, like maybe getting like a black leather jacket or, denim jacket. Like you have a lot of potential in dating. Whereas I feel like if you really worked on yourself, she, like years down the line, she might be texting you and being like, hey, how are you? But it'll be in a much different light. It'll be less like, hey, I want you to listen to my boyfriend problems. It'll be more of like, hey, let's meet up,
Yeah. And if that happens in the future, that would be kind of like my, I would say, victory lap. But also at the same time, it's not exactly a situation that I 100% desire. I mean, first and foremost, I want to say, this girl has a wonderful personality. I wish absolutely no harm on her. And to be fair, I'm going to be honest. I do absolutely deserve what came on to me, because I didn't take action back in 2017 when she said that she didn't like me. I should have moved on. A lot of this stuff is on me, and I do not want and I guess the off chance that this girl potentially figures out that I'm talking about her.
Oh, my channel's not that important. You don't have to worry about that. Trust me.
Well, I do want to let everybody know that, she is a very decent person and that I absolutely wish her nothing but the best.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm speaking to guys out there that have been talking to the same girl for possibly 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years.
10 years. 10 fucking years, man. Yeah.
Leave, bro. Please. I mean, it is not worth the emotional hassle.
The opportunity cost, too.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. Now, what you can do is use a lot of that negative energy and channel it positively. Now, I'm going back to school. I'm, trying to better my education. I am trying to, get in a little bit better shape and get myself into a better position economically. Gentlemen, use this to your advantage. Learn from my mistake, and do not give, because a lot of modern women these days, I think, do crave that sort of attention. But I think it's up to us men to, not kill ourselves trying to do something like that. If a girl's not interested in you, move on, bro.
Yeah, I think you said it really well. Like if you show interest in a girl, the way I think about simping isn't necessarily like, oh, if you open a girl's car door, you're a simp. Like I don't think of it that way. I think of simping as like, if you show interest in a girl and that girl doesn't reciprocate, and then you do favors for her, you buy her jewelry, you like show her all this like, love and affection that's not reciprocated. Like I think that's the real definition of simping. And I think there's an opportunity cost to it. So like all those times where you spent on FaceTime or phone call or giving a girl rides or going driving across the country to help her move, that's all time where you could be spending in the gym, like lifting weights, like doing cardio.
Absolutely.
Working on a podcast, going back to school. So there's an opportunity cost to it. And it's good to hear your perspective, hear your story on this, because simping is super, super common. Like I think I was reading a fact on OnlyFans that there was like 300 million like male users on there.
Wait, really? Hold on for a second. A significant fraction of the population of the United States.
Yeah, almost the entire population of the United States is on OnlyFans. And like the way I look at it now is, if you do make yourself like a lot more physically attractive, that's probably the number one way to kind of stop simping, is because you make yourself more appealing. More women are going to be naturally interested in you. And then if you do show interest to a girl and she doesn't reciprocate that, you can say, well, I have a couple girls over here that are interested in me, so I'm not going to like pursue a girl that's not into me. Whereas I think there's also psychology behind it when you feel as though you don't have many options and you see a girl as your best and only option. That's when a lot of guys really simp
Absolutely.
and really try to convince a girl that you're the best guy for her. Whereas if you get to the point where physically you're decently attractive, you have a good career going on, you have other hobbies and skills going for you, you're way less likely to simp because you're busy and you've got girls that are showing you interest and that's actually being reciprocated. Yeah, really appreciate you coming on to tell your story. It's definitely much appreciated. I think from my own life, I remember there was a guy, I was friends with these two guys in high school, and one of them was he was pretty tall. He was like half Cuban, half Puerto Rican, and there was this girl named Michelle who was also Hispanic as well, and she really liked my friend, and this other friend who liked Michelle. And this guy would just go out of his way to do like a ton of favors for her. Like he would give her rides to work, back from work. He bought her like a necklace. He bought her like a bracelet. And I remember telling him like, dude, like, I'm sorry, man. Like she likes him. She's not reciprocating your interest. So like you shouldn't be buying a girl that isn't your girlfriend jewelry and giving them rides. And like when I was pretty overweight, and when I looked my worst, I definitely would simp a good bit as well. Like I would be buying drinks for girls who had no interest in me, and it was really out of the thought of like, oh, I really have to impress this girl because I don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
But when you do really work on yourself, you're going to have a lot more options, and women are going to find you naturally attractive. And then simping will become, a pastime for you.
Yeah. Now, also in the same breath, I do want to say that I believe that guys and girls absolutely can be friends, but it's under very, very specific circumstances. You essentially have to put it outside of your head that that you're attracted to this girl. Now, this is a different girl. She's actually, happily married with a couple children these days, and I keep up with her often, and she really is absolutely phenomenal. She's almost like my cousin replacement, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, like I said, do not do what I do. Do not do what I did, and just try and do nothing but better yourself. That's exactly what I'm doing. And if it's possible to do an update video of, not just like economically improving myself, but also, physically improving myself, hitting the gym, trying to get into social situations a little bit more, that stuff can do absolute wonders to your social life. And also on top of that, I was incredibly lucky having the amazing friends that I have, because they're ultimately the ones that are pushing for me to become a much better version of
the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You said it well, man. It's like becoming the best version of yourself is the best cure for simping. It really is.
100%. So, like I said, don't do what I did. Try and keep on bettering yourselves out there, and try not to give a woman any more attention that she doesn't deserve.
Exactly. I think the last point I'll make is like, I think having female friends is fine as long as you don't have like this lust for them that isn't reciprocated. Yeah. So if you have a girl that's a friend and you're telling her that you're attracted to her, and she's telling you like, hey, I'm not into you, and then you're buying her jewelry and you're doing favors for her, like being that like emotional tampon, like that's not a good example. But I think it's totally fine to have female friends. Like I have some female friends because female friends can introduce you to other women.
Yeah.
And also like if you're out at a bar or you're at an event and you have some female friends with you, it's kind of like it's then a lot easier to meet other girls because women see you with other girls. And it may not build like a ton of attraction, but I think what it does do is like build comfort, and they see that and they'll see, oh wow, he's probably not like a serial killer, he probably doesn't like smell really bad. So I definitely think there's an element of that to it.
For sure.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, you're the fucking man. And you're gonna, like I said, if you really improve yourself and like in all those areas, like I think she's gonna look back with regret and say like, man, he was a hell of a catch. And I fucked up. So
well, we'll see. I mean, either way, I definitely wish her the best life, and wish absolutely no harm on her. And if we end up going our separate ways, that's exactly what happens. Otherwise, like I said, thank you very much for having me on your podcast. I'm very appreciative to be able to, tell this story and encourage other men to, better themselves. Thank you very much, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for everything.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Yep. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to comment down below your experience with simping, and feel free to subscribe. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care.